who is that Michelle? Okay. Yeah. And we are excited to have them with us to share tonight's session. I'll introduce them and briefly, and then just let them take over and share all of their expertise and the fun activities they have for us to learn this evening. We have Julie McGow, who is our district math teacher on special assignment, instructional coach. We have Jeanette Flores, who's a principal of Murray Elementary School. We have Jenny Lee, who is our preschool director here in Azusa Unified School District. Also with us is Alicia Vargas Smith. Thank you, by the way, for interpreting for us. And she is our resource teacher at Longfellow School. Georgianne Taylor is joining us, one of our expert preschool teachers here in the district, and Sylvia Marquez, a kindergarten teacher from Paramount School. So thank you so much. I know we have lots of others who are supporting this effort today. So thank you so much. I am going to turn it over to our presenters at this time, and we will begin.
Our topic tonight is to talk about counting collections. And we know that anything that we can learn when we are playing, we're going to actually learn with a lot more fun, but we're also actually going to retain that learning more, because we know that playing is how children learn best. And so tonight we're going to give you an opportunity to see what this looks like when we do a counting collection. So we're going to model this first, and we've invited two of our teachers tonight to bring some collections and to put themselves in the student shoes. So we're going to start with a small collection, and I'm going to invite Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Taylor. And what we want them to do, we really miss being together. We really miss getting to see our friends. And so they're going to kind of pretend tonight that they are sitting together at a table to count a collection. And this is a chance for our students not only to do some mathematics, but to connect with a friend. And so they're going to show you how they can count together, even though we're doing this across the computers. So I'm going to let you ladies take it away, and I'm going to model what you could do as a parent, where if there's a mistake or there's a question or they get stuck, you could ask a question, but how we're not going to tell them what to do next, how we want the student to do the thinking. So Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Taylor, go ahead. I think you both have collections, so you're going to have to figure out who goes first.
Very well. Hi, Mr. Jana.
Hi, Miss Alicia. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. What I brought to count today was I bought some pipe cleaners today to count. What is your collection today?
I brought my colorful markers.
Nice. Okay. So who would you like to go first? And then we can count, you can count first, and then we can do my collection second? Or do you want me to count first and you can count second?
Why don't we count yours? Let's count
Fantastic.
yours.
Do we want to count together or do we want to take turns counting?
I say we count together.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see how many I have. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9,
10.
10. So I have 10 altogether.
I think that I have more, Miss Alicia.
You do? Well, how can we find out if you have more?
Can we count them?
Sure. Do we want to count together or take turns?
I think that we should count together.
Okay.
Should we? Okay, here we go. 1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
9.
8, 9. Let's count them again. Can we count them again?
Yes, let's count them.
Okay.
1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5, 6,
7.
7. So how many do we have altogether?
7.
7. So who do you think has more?
I think you have more. You had 10.
I think maybe I might have more. So, but I like your
Should we count in
collection.
Spanish?
Very colorful.
Should we count in Spanish, Miss Alicia?
Let's count in Spanish. ¿Listos?
Yes, together. 1, 2, 3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
10.
1, 2, 3,
4,
4, 5,
5,
6,
6,
7.
7. Oh,
Siete.
sí lo tiene 7.
Ahora
I have
tenemos
7.
iguales. Tú tienes 7 y yo tengo 7.
Muy bien hecho. Well, thank you, ladies. So this is an example of students who are being able to see how each time they pick up one object, that corresponds with one number, that when they finish counting, the total quantity that they state is the name of that group. I also like the way that we saw Mrs. Smith be able to help Mrs. Taylor when she struggled with some of the numbers. And this is one of the joys that we see when students are helping each other in a counting collection. Now let's take a look and see an example of how we might do a slightly larger. Oh, and by the way, I loved the fact that they counted in more than one language. We want to honor our students' home languages. We want to give them an opportunity to use those languages. So that was just beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Let's see a slightly larger collection. I think that Mrs. Lee and Mrs. Flores have some collections today. Did one of you ladies have a collection to count?
Hi, yes. I believe Miss Lee has a collection that we're going to count.
So I have this big box of crayons and I have quite a few crayons. So why don't we count half today? Do that. We'll count this side of the box today. And you know what? We just learned how to count by fives. Can we count by fives? I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah, let's count by fives. That sounds fun.
And I have, let me pull these out. You're gonna have to help me because we learned these.
Oh, I like the way you just pointed your camera down. That's a nice way to be able to see your collection.
Thank you. So we need to sort them. I'm going to put them all out and we're going to count them by five. I'm going to, like what our teacher did, we're going to use cups to help us. So 5, 10, 15, right? 20, 25.
Oh, Mrs. Lee, could you stop for a second? I have a question for you. Would you pick up one of those cups? How many is inside that cup?
This cup is 5, but I have 1.
What do you think about that, Mrs. Flores?
I think that we're supposed to put 5 in each cup because that's how the teacher showed us. We had to have 5 items before we put it in a cup.
Oh, okay. So let me put these back out. the cup would have to have 5. Can you help me, Miss Jeanette?
Yes.
1, so 1,
1,
2,
2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can put it in the cup.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have another group.
Group 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
1,
1,
2,
2, 3, 4, 5.
5. 1,
1, 2, 3,
3,
4, 5.
5. I think we need more cups. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
5. We have one more. Can put that in that cup. Okay,
Sure.
so we have 5. Okay. Then we count. So I remember now we count by 5s, right? So should we do it together?
Okay. 5,
5,
10,
10,
15,
15,
20, 25, 30,
30, 30, 30,
31.
30, and one more makes 31. Thank you so much. So 5, so I have to remember to put 5 in a cup to make groups of 5. And then one more makes 31.
31.
Thank you.
Good job, ladies. I have a crazy question for you, though. Could it only be 5 in the cup, or could you put a different quantity in the cup?
I think we can put, if we count by 2s, we can put 2 in a cup, right?
Could, but I don't think you have that many cups. What else could you count by?
What if we can count by 10s? Can we put 10 in a cup?
Okay, let's try that. But
So can we join the two cups in one cup?
5 and 5 makes 10,
Right.
right? So 5 and 5 makes 10. That's 10 in this cup. And then I should have emptied those out. So here's another group.
That's
Okay.
10.
That's 10. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 makes 10. So now we have 3 groups.
So how would you count that one?
So we start by counting by 10. So 10,
10,
20,
30,
30,
and 31.
and
Oh, and you
one
got
more.
the same count both times. So there's different ways we can count the same objects. Ladies, you did a fabulous job. Thank your partner, please.
Thank you, Ms. Jeanette.
Jenny. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Very well done. So parents, as you can see, counting collections is really about physically counting real things. When they are younger, it's about just counting by ones. And as we get older, students will begin to say, I don't want to count 105 things by ones. This is boring. I'd rather do them in groups. And it's a natural way for them to begin to group things. They can group things by 2s or by 5s or by 10s. So what we want to do right now is give you an opportunity to see a little bit more about what this is, and then give you a chance to try some counting.
So what are counting collections? They are basically just what their name says. That it is counting of a collection of real things. At school, teachers often have a lot of manipulatives at their disposal that they can use, a lot of linker cubes or blocks. But at home, you can count ordinary things at home. And in fact, it might be more fun and interesting to count things from your home because you will have several quantities of certain objects that will make it a lot more interesting for the children to count. So
Here are some of the things that I want to count that I can find in my house. So all the pictures that you see are things that you can find around your house that can be grouped together to have a counting collection. So as you can see, there's hairpins, There's marbles and rubber bands. There's rocks. Maybe you have access to little cars or puzzle pieces, rose petals. So if you have flowers outside, you can pick the petals and count how many petals you have. There's a sticker collection or a sticker group. There's pens, markers, paper clips, sticks, anything that you have access to. It's not limited to what you see here in the pictures, but what you have at home and you have access to, and it can be grouped together, can be called a counting collection.
All right, so it's your turn, parents. We want to try something that we often do with your students, and we want to try it with you, which is called a breakout room. So what that means is we are going to set up, just for a few minutes, an opportunity for you to meet a couple of other parents and some teachers in another digital room. The computer will take you over to that other room. You can introduce yourself, and then we would like to ask 2 volunteers in the room to count a collection together, just like the counting that we just saw with the teachers that were here. All right, so our job right now is to go to your room and say hello to the other people in your room. And your second job is for at least 2 people to show us how they might count together. Again, we want to create that experience that we're counting together with a friend, even if that friend doesn't get to be in the same room with you right now. All right? And then after about 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to call you right back, and we'll wrap up with some tips for how to make sure that this goes well in your household.
So go ahead as I begin to create the breakout rooms. Parents, if you need to do that last minute grabbing of things to count, go ahead and do that. We are going to do an automatically assign our breakout rooms, and we'll see how that goes. Here we go. And let me just take myself out. Here we go. Oh, I've got 2 people who are not in rooms. Let me see what I can do here. How are you? I see the Nunez's and Palacios. Welcome. If you want to unmute, we can try to get you into a breakout room. Let me see what we can do to move you in. And one more, the Palacios. I'm going to try to move you into a room. Thank you for your patience. There we go. Let's see if this works. Let me see what's going on. Try to move you. If you want to unmute or turn your camera on, I'll try to help you a little bit. I'm not sure if this is a Mr. or Mrs. Palacios. Try one more time. I don't think it's working. There we go.
Jen, I saw lots of parents counting with us.
Okay, we'll be bringing everybody back. It says 10 seconds, and then they'll automatically be returning to the main room. I hit the button before I could set the timer, so that should be it. Let's see what's happening. I'll get people back. Okay, we think we have just about everybody back. Looks like our rooms are closed. And there, go ahead. And if our interpreter has returned, and so Michelle, if you just want to let people know that we can restart interpretation at the globe, they can do that. I think maybe she is back into the interpretation room. So I'll ask Ms. Smith maybe just to let people know if they've lost their access to Michelle, our interpreter, they can re-access her through Interpretation Globe.
Si se desconectaron con la intérprete, pueden hacerle clic al globo de abajo y en ese pueden volver a conectarse con la interpretación en español.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, we're going to pass it over to Mrs. Flores.
Thank you. So the purpose of counting collections is that counting collections provide students an opportunity to develop number sense as they learn kinder through second grade math. And counting teaches children the names of numbers, the sequence of numbers, one-to-one correspondence, relative size, efficient and accurate counting strategies, skip counting, and counting on from a number, and how to record what they counted. So as you can see, counting collections teaches students a variety of strategies when it comes to counting, and then they're able to apply these strategies to their math.
Now that you know a little bit about counting collections, what do? Well, there are some steps. So we outline some steps that you can follow. So first, decide on the right side of collections. It could be 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 10 to 20, or something greater. So you saw 2 different sets or 3 different sets. It depends on the level where your child's at. And then step 2, work together with your child to find something to count. So when students are interested in counting something, you have that high level of engagement. And let your child count. If your child has trouble organizing the collections, you can provide some organization tools, such as the 5 frame, that 10 frame, a double 10 frame. These are provided for you in a document that we will share, or you could use eggs hardened. I have mine. We bought the big tray because we have boys. And I used cups earlier. So there's different things you can find around the house to for the children to use as tools as they count. And step 4, ask questions, but let your child take the lead. Don't provide answers because, we want to make sure that they're successful. And sometimes we're eager as parents to provide answers and help them through, but let them lead the conversations as they're counting. And then 5, provide an opportunity for your child to record how he or she can count the objects. And we'll share a little bit about what that looks like.
Perfect. So I want you to think about how we actually learn things, and we're going to show you a quick little video to let you think about how do children learn best? Do they learn best when we do it for them, or do they learn best when they have a little bit of what we call productive struggle? So watch this little one.
More funny. Fai quello? Mi torniamo. Fai la volta di ok? Buono.
So as we see that, you can see that this little one, each and every time they tried, this was in a gymnastics class, each and every time this child tried to jump up onto that, he or she was learning what to do, what was working and what was not working. And because the coach let the child make mistakes, when that child finally got it, there was this amazing joy that was so great because the child went through that struggle. But the coach didn't leave the child to just sit by themselves and try it. He stepped back in, he said, here's how I can help you. This idea that we sometimes need to struggle to learn has quite a lot of research behind it, and we call it in education productive struggle. The idea here is that a lot of the learning comes from making mistakes. There's some other pieces to the learning that also says that if we praise students, oh, honey, you're so smart. You just learned that so fast. You're so quick. If we praise students that way, it can actually backfire. Let me explain what I mean. So if I tell my daughter all the time, you're so smart, man, I wish I was as smart as you. When my daughter sees a really challenging math problem, per se, she might look at it and be like, I'm not going to pick the challenging problem because what if I'm not as smart as my mom thinks I am? What if I fail? Then I'm not that smart. And they actually did studies and found that students were choosing less challenging tasks to do if they were praised only because of a natural intelligence. But if we change it and we praise students for their effort, for using good strategies, for their hard work, for their persistence, those students would choose more difficult things because they began to embrace the joy of having that challenge. We also see that it's important to celebrate the mistakes, to say it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, we learn a lot from our mistakes. The other idea is we say, I can't do it yet. That it's okay that we can't do everything now, but I'm going to learn how to do it. And it's not there quite yet. And the last one is we as parents and as educators can ask good questions to help our students so that they are doing the thinking instead of we are doing the thinking. And this is especially hard, I think, during distance learning as we are standing right there. And we parents, we appreciate so much that you are our co-teachers in this distance learning time and the role that we are being able to share together. But one of the challenges that we have is that we want to make sure that our students have some times where they have to think about it for a while, where there is a productive struggle. So here are some questions you can ask your students where they are still doing the thinking and you're not giving away the answer.
Well, there are questions that you can help your child with the process of counting collections from beginning to end. And there are questions for the planning stage, talking to your child about how are you going to count your collection? What is your plan for counting collections? How are you going to group or count? Then you move into your questions about the actual counting that is taking place. If they're counting by ones, is there a faster way that they could count? What's another way that they could count to make their collections, different sizes and different groups? Questions for double checking. How many objects are in your collection? How do you know that that's how many you have? Can you prove that, your number is correct? Is there another way for you to count your collection to double check the work? You also have what we call representation, which is basically recording their collection. So you tell your child, okay, now you've counted your collection. tell me on paper, how much do you have? And try to make it clear so somebody else knows exactly what you counted and how many you have in that collection. You then can extend their thinking. How many do you have if you had one more? How many would you have if you had one less? Would you need to regroup them if you had more or if you had less? And the last is, tell me about your tell me about your drawing. How many does it show? And that again is also another way for your child to double check their accuracy in counting their collection.
And I think we're going to pass it to Mrs. Marquez. Oh, you are muted, Mrs. Marquez.
I'm sorry. This is an example of how the students recorded what they counted. And if you notice, they showed groups of 10, and then they wrote out the number sentence using numerical values for each and their total. On the right, in the right, they counted in different formats. We are providing you a sample worksheet in both English and Spanish that children can complete, and they would include what they have to write down exactly what they counted and how many items were in their collection, and make a quick picture showing how they counted.
So what are some do's and don'ts when it comes to counting collections? So make counting collection a regular activity at home. As you work with the children, you're going to realize that they love counting collections. So we have students asking teacher, when can we do counting collections again? And start with smart quantities and allow your child to make decisions on how to group their collections by 1, 5s, and 10s, or with the tools that they can access. And the don't take over the thinking for your child. Let them struggle through, and don't feel the need that you need to find a large quantity of objects to count, because counting collections not just addresses the counting itself, but also many other skills in math. And have fun.
Paul Almos likes to say the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics, and counting collections is a great opportunity for us to do mathematics with our young learners. And so we're so excited. We are so thankful that you chose to spend part of your evening with us tonight. We're going to share some links with you in the chat that will take you directly to this presentation in case you want to use any of those questions, as well as a file that has a 5 frame and a 10 frame and a double 10 frame and those little recording sheets. And we have something coming up, which is in February. We are going to be celebrating on February 10th, the 100th day of school. And so we are going to have a district-wide challenge for our preschool through second graders. We'd love to see your students. It doesn't have to be 100. It needs to be the right amount for them, but for all of our students to try a counting collection during that time. And if you would like to post that in social media, we're going to be looking for those under hashtag Azusa Goes the Distance. So be watching for that and be practicing as we get ready for that 100th day of school, and watch for more information from your child's teacher.
Thank you. Thank you so much, our amazing early math literacy team. I'm excited to start counting. I'm looking around my house, finding things to count right now. And it's such a fun activity and such a fun way to have parents and students learning math. All of the resources that Julie just mentioned, I put 2 links in the chat, and those are the links to the slides, and then also to the counting templates. I don't know, Julie, what did you call them again?
We have a 5 frame. So if your
Okay.
students are really little ones, we want to first learn about the group of 5. Then there's a 10 frame as they get ready for a group of 10, a really big deal in kindergarten and first grade. And then we have a double 10 frame when they're ready to take on those teens and the bigger numbers.
Great. And these are all available we have on our district website, a Azusa Parent Learning Network kind of page. And again, I'll send you a link to that, and you can find these resources there as well as past resources. And a recording of this will be posted there if you wanted to rewatch and learn again. We'll just take a minute. If there are any final questions that anyone might have, you can go ahead and unmute, but I just want to thank everyone for joining us. And again, thank our fabulous team for presenting this evening. And thanks to Michelle Macias, our wonderful interpreter, for